Since we already know how to use layers and layer masks, let's look at luminance selections. Luminance selections are a special selection where we select parts of the image just based on the brightness of the pixels, so nothing else is taken into account, just the brightness. We distinct three types, either it's lights, midtones or darks. So for this image I have here, which is just a gradient from blue to white, the lights would be all the pixels on the right here, the midtones are here in the middle, and the darks are on the left. So let's look how to select the lights. For this we need to open the channels window. I have it here. If you don't see it, window channels. In this window we have the RGB, the red, green and blue channels. We work only with the RGB. As I said, we just need the brightness of the pixels. So to select the lights of this image, I will just hold the Ctrl key and click on RGB. As you can see, a selection is made which has all the very bright pixels and a few more. But this is not the whole selection, since this selects everything based on the brightness. So even this area here is selected, but only as much as the brightness of them. So if there are 50% brightness, they are selected to 50%. So let's look at the selection really looks like. In the bottom of the channels window, you can find the Save Selection as Channel button and click on it. You will get a new alpha channel, and this represents the selection we have. The brighter the pixels of this alpha channel, the more the part of the image is selected. So everything that's white is selected to 100%, everything that's black is selected to 0%. Everything in between is selected based on the shade of gray. It's same as we had with the layer masks, where everything that was white was revealed and everything that was black was hidden. Here the white is selected, black isn't. Everything in between selected to a certain degree. So let's call this channel lights 1. I do this because I clicked once to select them. Let's get back to the RGB. So what if you want to restrict this selection more, so that I don't want to have so much of the middle part selected, I want just more of the white selected. To do that, I still have the selection done, so I will deselect it so you can see it from the start. So I will go Ctrl click on the RGB, this is the lights 1, and then if I hold Ctrl Alt Shift, the cursor changes to this hand with the X symbol, and I click once more. And as you can see, the selection got smaller, and if I save it to a channel, you can compare. This was the lights 1 and this is the lights 2. I will call it lights 2. As you can see here, really a big part of the photo was still selected. Here the selection is much smaller. If I want to constrict this even more, I will go again with the same selection still active, Ctrl Alt Shift hold and click on the RGB channel, and it will restrict it even more. So if I save this as a lights 3 channel, you can see this was the first one, second one, third one. So the next step restricts the selection more and more and more. Like this you can go until you have just the really white part selected. So I can continue and restrict this more and more, and each time the restriction will be smaller and smaller and smaller. Usually one needs only few of these, but you can go as much as you want. So these are the light parts of the image. Now if you want to select the dark parts of the image, we need to invert the image first. So to select the darks, I will have to create invert adjustment layer on top of my image that will change the image completely to its negative. And now if I want to create the dark parts of the original image, I will just create the light parts of the inverse. So I just Ctrl click now on the RGB channel with the inversion intact, and I will save it, and this will be darks 1. So these are the lights. So you see most of the selection is on the right side, and this is the darks. Most of the selection is on the left side. If I want darks 2, with this selection still active, Ctrl-Alt-Shift-click on the RGB channel and save it, and I have the darks 2. If I want one more, same thing, and I have the darks 3. So we have the lights and we have the darks. Now to select the midtones, I will have to deselect because I don't need that anymore, and I have to throw away the inversion channel because I also don't need it anymore. So now to get the midtones, it's very simple. We have to take the whole image and we have to subtract lights and darks, and so we will get the midtones. So to get the whole image, with the click on RGB and Ctrl A to select all, you will see the whole image is selected. Now Ctrl Alt, hold these two together and click on the lights and click on the darks. You will get this warning, there's nothing to fear, just click OK. And now if we save this selection as a new channel, we will get this. This is our midtones of this image. So this image midtones is this. All the darkest areas are not selected, or the brightest areas are not selected, just the middle. So we can call this midtones 1. If you want a little wider selection of midtones, what we can do, we can go back to the RGB, select it again, but I will not subtract lights 1 and darks 1, but I will subtract lights 2 and darks 2. If I send this, you see this was the midtones 1, and the new one, midtones 2, is selects more of the middle area. The selection is whiter, so it means it selects more. So this one, the first one, this was the second one. And we can continue like this, many layers as we want. We can also do that if I want, for instance, midtones that are more to the darks area, I can go that I select everything, and then I will remove lights 1 and remove darks 3. So if I save this, as you can see, it's more brighter towards the dark areas of the photo. So it will affect the dark areas of the photo more. So these are darker midtones. You can create lighter midtones, and you can create any combination of these as you want.